Tokenism. Tokenism is the bane of the black nerd. Sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad. It depends on who you ask. But let's dive into it. What's up, Meisterville? Let's talk about tokenism and superheroes. So, tokenism is a tricky subject, and I personally am of the camp that we should go for as much originality as possible. But these days, that truly seems to be impossible because, money is a thing and nostalgia is a thing. Tokenism has bad connotations, but it does come in, let's say, two flavors. We got race changes and we got legacy changes. Now, a lot of the negative associations with tokenism come from the first flavor. It can happen in continuity. Yes, this is a black Lois Lane and a black Frank Castle. Or it can come from a different dimension, where they're black but they have the same history as their white counterpart. These stories at their worst are just copy-paste versions of the original white characters, and this type of storytelling is really frustrating to me. Personally, because I think it's literally a reskin with no original properties or elements to it whatsoever, and the company is literally filling a quota for diversity's sake. Most of the time, to my own knowledge, changes like this are rarely accepted, and rightfully so, because you're selling me something I already have in a different skin. Using black skin like a costume, I know it's superheroes, but yeah, no good. Then we got legacy characters. Legacy characters, it always depends on the context. When done poorly, it can be equally as bad as the first flavor, but unlike the first flavor, this flavor of tokenism can go over really well. Personally, for me, it works better when the character's in a separate dimension from the original character, with a complete original story, even if they just share the same name. Good examples of this would be, there's Nick Fury 616, and then there's Ultimate Nick Fury. The only thing they share is the eye patch, the military service, and the name. Again, I would prefer an original character, entirely, but this approach has been seen as way more acceptable, and I get it, again, more for originality, but this type of approach, it's more palpable, more feasible, and it has more effort behind it. I think because the writers make an effort to make the stark differences, that's what makes these characters more acceptable. Another great example, the subject of this video, would be Miles Morales. His entire story is vastly different from Peter Parker, even though they share similar traits, surroundings, and their slight differences are enough so Miles feels like a different character from Peter, even if he has, Peter-like traits. Now, I won't shy away from the obvious criticism because it is there that, Miles Morales is just a black version of Spider-Man, because, that's the whole subject of this video. But I felt more that way when they killed the Ultimate Universe and merged the universes together and had Miles and Peter always hanging out and stuff. So that lessened Miles's originality. Well, not even originality, but impact as a character to me. But Miles had a strong introduction for a character, even a legacy one, which is why he has endured better than most legacy characters. But now I also want to talk about tokenism, quote unquote, in a special case, because there is special cases of it as well. You get characters like John Stewart, because again, the context is what is important. The Green Lantern Corps basically works like the police, so you can have Green Lantern Corps from everywhere and anywhere, even though the original Green Lantern was Alan Scott, I believe. But yeah, you get John Stewart. John Stewart is part of the Force, and he's using his powers as part of the Force, but he feels like a totally different character because of his mannerisms and what he manifests and all of those things. So even though he's a legacy character, he's still a character all unto himself. But now we got to talk about something that I find very important, very, very important. Original characters, in my case especially original black characters. I'm going to be talking about other original characters of other ethnicities, but I just want to cover this for now. the issue that I always have with legacy characters, and especially race change characters, is that original characters will never see the same love and support that these race changed or legacy characters will get. Miles Morales has had cartoon appearances, he's got video game appearances, he's got a video game now, he might be getting several video games. There's a lot of things going on with Miles Morales that would never happen to, say, well, I don't know. The future is looking bright, so I'm hoping, but, Static never got as much love and as much play as Miles Morales, even when he had his own cartoon. There's several characters. There's characters like Vixen, who won't get as much love as Miles Morales. There's characters, even if we keep it in the same universe, there's characters like Prodigy, who just gets pushed to the wayside by Marvel every time. Originality is not something to be shunned at, and as a person who promotes indie comic books, because I am a huge lover of indie comic books, especially indie black comic books as well, in my particular case, I still think that the characters that I'm talking about have a fan base who buy Marvel comic books and deserve to have spotlights. They really deserve to have the spotlight, and they can operate in that spotlight, and they can operate well. So a lot of irritation for a lot of blurs with legacy characters and race changes, but I would say legacy characters for this particular point over here is that the legacy characters always have to have a white mantle. They always have to come from a white character. There always has to be a white person who previously held that mantle before it actually became something worthy of passing it along. And that to me is it can be a great device. It can be a great device. Black Batman could work depending on how you write it, but why would you not put more shine on Mr. Terrific if you need a black Batman type, or if you need, why wouldn't you look at a Bronze Tiger instead of making Black Deadshot? These are questions that we have all the time because these characters can fill these roles, and a lot of the time it's just marketing. I know there's the safe bet, but it would work. I mean, taking the obvious example, the very obvious one, Black Panther. A lot of people might have thought it was a risk. A lot of the news coming out talking about it being a 90% black cast, which I don't understand why that was a risk. But the point being is that Marvel took the risk and it paid off very, very well. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. The thing I want to stress with tokenism can be lessened. Tokenism, the impact can be lessened. The irritation can be lessened if original characters and original black characters and original black stories or original stories in general just got more play. Let's step away from black people for a second. I love you, my black people, black power, black face, black lives matter, but I just want to step away from a second and let's look at the curious case of Kamala Khan. So, Kamala Khan, Muslim girl in America, Muslim Middle Eastern girl in America, right? Takes on the mantle of Miss Marvel, formerly held by Captain Marvel, right? Now, if Kamala Khan can get the play that she gets, even getting video game appearances and being a playable video game character herself, why can't we extend the same love and the same, attention to a character named Dust? So, I'm sure some of you are just like, who? But Dust, the interesting thing about her is that, well, first off, she has a very tragic backstory. She was in Afghanistan as a kid, and she got sold into slavery, and she eventually gets picked up by Wolverine and Phantom X in a slave trade or something. The point being is that she has a very interesting story to tell, and she rarely gets any real major play. She's there, but she's a background character, and I don't like the idea that Kamala Khan is going to be more of a hot commodity than Dust is, simply because Dust is more or less original. I would say that if you're into Kamala Khan, definitely give Dust a chance. And I would say to Marvel that if Kamala Khan is selling, I would say put her and Dust together or give Dust more play. Like, everybody talks about how risky these things are. They're really not. I mean, Marvel took a chance with this monstrosity, I'm guessing. So, if you were willing to do that, Marvel, I would challenge you to focus on more of your original characters. As aforementioned, Prodigy, Power. There's a lot of characters out there that that need a chance and are not and they're not getting it. So if you're into legacy characters, if you're into characters, who are holding white mantles but are now non-white people, I would just say also just give original black characters a chance. Give them a chance. Also give non-white characters a chance, like characters like Sunspot and all of that stuff. The point being is that if you're willing to support a legacy character that is holding a white mantle, I do believe that you should also extend that same love and same interest to an original character. Now again, I'm not in control of anybody but myself, but I do challenge people who are into these characters just to give other characters more of a chance so that Marvel can see that these characters are safe bets. And the comic book industry in general. I was told recently that the comic book industry is built off nostalgia, and I totally understand that. But it's all in the marketing. It's always been in the marketing, and it will always be in the marketing. So you just need to market it right. Alright? So I've been talking about Marvel and DC a lot in this video. I do want to just say that I've got some comic book characters on the screen, and I've got links to the creators and all of that stuff. And I've also labeled the heroes so that you know who's who in the zoo. But as I talk about originality, because I'm much for it, I think that not only will race changes be lessened, but legacy characters will be way more accepted if there's more balance in our industry, or in this comic book industry. Now, again, if you like legacy characters, or even race changed characters, which I say that I'm not a fan of ever, no matter how good the casting or the actor or how good the story is, I'm not a big fan of race changes, simply because you could have just made a new character, in my opinion. But all I'm saying is that different strokes for different folks. I'm not going to take anything away from anybody. I'm not going to call you a hypocrite, or I'm not doing that. You can like what you like. I'm only in control of myself, no one else. But I think that this discussion is important. It needs to be had, and I think it really needs to be tackled. Milestone coming back is a big deal simply because Milestone tackled these issues and then disappeared, and now it looks like with the new helm and the new management, they're going to be tackling these issues again. Of course, they're going to be tackling other issues of other kinds, but I'm saying that we getting some real diversity, like real diversity, and I'm excited to see how it goes. So this video is, it's a heavy one. It's a really heavy one, and I know that this is going to be a very long topic of discussion, which I totally welcome. So with that being said, let me know what you think, Meisterville. Let me know what you think about anything that I've said in this video. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know if you think I'm out of whack. I'll debate you, or maybe you'll change my mind. I don't know, but we'll talk. Let's have an open dialogue and communication. Of course, let's keep it respectful. Different strokes for different folks. Let's keep it respectful. But yeah, I think this is a conversation that definitely needs to be had. So let me know what you think. Thank you for getting to the end of this video. You are spectacular. If you like this video, I got another one on screen. I got a playlist on screen, and I got my icon on screen. So yeah, click that if you want to subscribe. Remember to ring the bell button if you do subscribe, and I'll see you all in another video because Meister Man's gotta be out. Peace.